The city center of Rotterdam looks like no other city center in the Netherlands. Most Dutch cities are defined by what they kept. Rotterdam is defined by what it lost. On the 14th of May 1940, German bombers leveled the entire city center in under 2 hours. The medieval streets, the old harbor, centuries of accumulated architecture, gone. What rose in its place was something the world had never quite seen before. A city that did not rebuild the past. A city that invented a new one. Today, Rotterdam stands as one of the most architecturally daring cities in Europe, home to the largest port on the continent, and a place where the ordinary rules of urban design simply do not apply. In the Oud Haven district, above an ordinary pedestrian street, sit 38 residential cubes, each one tilted at exactly 45 degrees, balanced on a hexagonal concrete pillar. They were designed by Dutch architect Piet Blum in 1984. His concept was a forest of houses, each cube a tree, the walkway beneath it a forest floor. People still live here, full apartments, inside structures that appear to defy the basic logic of construction. One of the cubes is open to visitors. Step inside and the strangeness becomes physical. Walls lean at angles the eye keeps trying to correct. Windows look out at the world from unexpected directions. Blum called it living as an urban roof. Whatever you call it, nothing quite prepares you for the reality of standing inside it. A short walk away, an enormous horseshoe arch rises above the surrounding city blocks. This is the Markthal, Rotterdam's covered market, completed in 2014, and one of the most visited buildings in the Netherlands. The interior ceiling is covered in a single artwork. 11,000 square meters of painted abundance, fruits and flowers and insects rendered at a scale that makes the eyes work to find where it ends. Built into the walls of the arch, looking down into the market from above, are 228 apartments. Residents wake each morning to a view of cheese stalls and fresh produce below their windows. On the ground floor, dozens of vendors. Fresh fish, stroopwafels, Indonesian spices, Portuguese pastries. In the Markthal, the smells arrive before anything else does. On the edge of the Rijnhaven Canal, something unexpected is taking place. People are surfing. RIF 010 is an urban wave pool, a mechanical system generating consistent, rideable waves on a stretch of Rotterdam Canal. Surfers drop in, carve, wipe out, and paddle back. The city skyline sits directly behind them. Cyclists cross the bridge above. It opened in 2021. Rotterdam has always been a port city, always oriented toward the water. The terrace alongside fills up quickly. Most people come to watch. There are no canal houses here, no narrow gabled facades, no preserved medieval streetscapes. The cool zingle, Rotterdam's main boulevard is wide and uncompromising, flanked by towers and open plazas. Buildings compete for attention at every turn. This is not neglect, this is intention. After the destruction of 1940, Rotterdam made a deliberate choice. Rather than reconstruct what had been lost, the city would become a laboratory, a place where architects could test what a modern city might actually become. Decades later, the experiment is still running. New buildings continue to arrive, the skyline continues to change. In Rotterdam, the city is never quite finished.
To get some. On the real, we appear to get gone. Victory is ours, bring the chip home. Galactic, and I'm looking to get more. Raise it up, seen but you don't know. Running like the blood, pumping from the pressure of adrenaline rush. We crush whatever we touch. Where you been, yo? Everyone know. And if you still don't get it, let it chill for a minute. Time is money, and trust me, man, I'm all business. And if you want something done, do yourself to get it finished. Wake up, victory's mine. On top, still on the grind. Gotta go.
At the edge of the Leuvenhaven harbor, old vessels sit quietly in the water. A lighthouse ship painted red, retired cranes from the working port, a submarine open to the public, its interior narrow enough to remind anyone who enters exactly what life was like for the men who served inside it.
Take control, take a shot, what you're waiting for, keep it real, never go fake this, so we make it, so we make it.
This is the outdoor collection of the Maritime Museum, founded in 1874, making it one of the oldest maritime institutions in Europe.
But don't do a thing, we certified observers. I come through and give a true display. We champions, understand.
Rotterdam did not become Europe's largest port by chance. For centuries, this stretch of the Maas River was the gateway between the North Sea and the interior of the continent. Everything that moved between Britain and Germany, between Scandinavia and France, passed through here. Inside the museum, that history becomes tangible. Outside, the harbor tells the rest of the story, and some of these ships are still close enough to touch.
Keep it real, never gon' fake this, so we make it, so we make it. Taking off, flying high like a spaceship. Take control, take a shot, what you're waiting for. Keep it real, never gon' fake this, so we make it, so we make it. I thank the stars above, I know that we're gon' make it.
Spanning 802 meters across the Nieuwe Maas River, the Erasmus Bridge is the image most associated with modern Rotterdam. Its single asymmetric pylon rises 139 meters above the water. From it, 32 cables fan outward, holding the bridge deck in a form that, from the southern bank, resembles a swan in flight. Rotterdammers call it the Swan. Designed by architect Ben van Berkel and completed in 1996, it has become something more than infrastructure. It is a symbol of ambition, of a city that builds things on a scale that demands to be noticed. In the late afternoon, when the light softens over the river, the bridge and the skyline behind it make a particular kind of sense together. Glass towers reflected in moving water. A city built from almost nothing, still reaching upward. Rotterdam does not ask to be compared to other places. It never has.